Hey everybody, it's Christina Holloway here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about what it looks like when your boss really sees you as a leader. Now, you could spot any one of these signs and that's great. That means you're developing some great leadership skills and you're gaining the respect and trust of your boss. If you can identify most of these signs, then congratulations. You're definitely working your way forward into new and bigger opportunities at work. Real quick, if you enjoy this content and want to learn more about how to make power moves in your career, make sure to follow my channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video from me. All right, so let's get started. Number one, they observe your decision making. This can be confusing because many times I'm working with clients to help them break free from a boss who micromanages them and constantly tells them what to do. Many people have that experience. So when you find yourself with a boss who's interested in observing you make your own decisions during important projects and assignments, it can feel disconnected. Why haven't they said anything? Why aren't they giving me advice? Why haven't they swooped in to save the day? Well, because they want to see how you're going to handle it. The more you have autonomy in your decision making, the more likely you are to have a reason for your choices. And that's what a good boss is looking for. When I was grooming people for bigger roles, the first thing I did was ask them why they made that choice. Not because I thought it was the wrong choice, but because I wanted them to start feeling comfortable defending their decisions or just explaining them. This allowed them to develop their critical thinking skills. Number two, they ask for your opinion and input. One of the best bosses I had used to put me on the spot all the time. I could tell she was interested in my development because she repeatedly put me in situations where I'd have to contribute in front of other people. What do you think, Christina? What are your thoughts on this proposal, Christina? Do you have anything more to add, Christina? At first, I was caught off guard. Again, you may not be used to someone actually asking you for your input and then articulating that they value your opinion. I got used to it pretty fast, and I usually had an answer. This also helped me understand where I felt most comfortable contributing my expertise. I realized that my strengths and interests were in branding, so I usually directed my input in that area. Eventually, my boss would ask me directly about my opinion on specific branding initiatives. If you find yourself constantly in the hot seat during calls and meetings, what do you think, Sue? Then consider crafting answers that redirect back to the area of work you've been focusing on. It's going to help you find your voice during these moments with more confidence. Number three, they treat you like a trusted advisor. I had another great boss who was the executive director of a major marketing department. If she needed to be on an important call, she always invited me. If she had major planning meetings, she always asked me to fly out for those meetings. If she had a major presentation for the top leadership team, she always asked me to work on it with her. In order to be a trusted advisor, always know what your job is and always know why your boss wants you around. Those situations will turn into deep, confidential conversations involving major decision-making moments. The more you can tap into the reason why your boss values your advice for specific situations, the more you'll be able to position yourself as a vital member of the leadership team. Number four, they ask you to represent the team. Here's something else I learned quickly. Other people on my team knew I worked very closely with our boss. That meant that I would get invited to other meetings and team members would inevitably ask me for advice on how to prepare their materials or how to present to our boss. Any insight I had in what our boss wanted or needed would be helpful to the other team members. Now, she didn't send me out on meetings where she was invited. That role went to another person on the leadership team, but that person always knew how to answer questions from our boss's perspective. Once you have insight into how your boss thinks about certain projects, initiatives, and strategies, then you're more likely to get invited to speak as part of a leadership team that acts as a unified front with other decision makers. Number five, they delegate authority instead of tasks. This is a conversation I just had with one of my clients this week. She has been promoted to a C-suite position and she's working on developing her leadership team. One of the first things she wants to do with them is to ensure that she focuses on motivation and engagement. To do that, she is now going to need to delegate authority instead of tasks. Her job at the top of this company is now less about managing the people under her and more about ensuring the company's strategic vision is put into place with the initiatives she has on her plate. In order to do that, she needs to ensure that her leadership team feels empowered to act on their authority to get work done. If you find that your boss has managed to delegate authority to you, then this is a clear sign you're being groomed for bigger things. You'll notice that stakeholders and partners accept your input and rarely question your decisions. There's synchronicity between their understanding of what your boss wants and what you're communicating. Number 6, they encourage skip-level meetings. This comes up a lot when I'm working with clients who want to get promoted. One of the first signs that their boss is working with them to get promoted is when they suggest skip-level meetings. In fact, it's one of the areas where I'll ask the client what they think. If their boss is hesitant to give them that access, then the promotion strategy might take longer than expected. If their boss encourages them to schedule regular calls with the skip level, then we know that visibility is openly encouraged. If you have regular visibility with your boss's boss, the skip level, and you're building a trusting relationship with that person, then this is a good sign that people are advocating for your career advancement. Number 7, they challenge you to go bigger. I had a client and I worked with her for a year. And in that time, she had been given a really big, challenging assignment. And every week, the leadership team for that project would pepper her with questions and challenge her every decision. And most of the coaching was really about developing resilience while she handled all of this attention with this big project. She thought she was failing too. She felt really vulnerable with all the questions and the direct challenges to her decisions. When the project was over, they all congratulated her and told her she did an excellent job, and that completely surprised her. During that time and that project, they were really just making sure they understood her thought process. After that, they gave her a promotion and a much bigger assignment, which she realized after everything she had just been through, like a baptism by fire, she could now completely handle. If it feels like you're being challenged at every turn, feel free to take a moment to ask how you're doing and what they expect of you. Bigger assignments where you feel like a small fish in a big pond are not really accidents. Someone somewhere wants to see how you're going to handle that situation. Go back to number 5 and see where you have authority, and then make it count. All right, so that's it for my video on 7 signs your boss sees you as a leader. If you've experienced any of these scenarios, please feel free to share your experiences below. I would love to hear about them. And if you enjoyed watching this video and you found it helpful, please make sure to check out my Executive Presence playlist, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you never miss another video from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.